Dr. Caitlin Todd's cruel blackmail campaign leaves Charity Dingle facing an impossible decision in next week's Emmerdale, as she considers selling her treasured share of the Woolpack. The ruthless former doctor takes pleasure in tightening her grip on Charity, demanding an enormous amount of money in exchange for keeping quiet. Desperate to shield Sarah and Jacob Sugden from discovering the truth about baby Leyla Sugden's real father, Charity feels backed into a corner and forced to make a life-changing move. The question is whether she can secure a deal big enough to finally end Todd's threats for good. Caroline Harker revealed that the tension in the storyline feels huge, explaining that Todd currently believes she has complete control over the situation. She hinted that while Todd has manipulated people before, this is the first time she has truly embraced blackmail for financial gain. Since leaving her hospital job, Todd now has endless free time, making her even more dangerous. After an earlier attempt to buy Todd's silence failed, Charity is devastated when she cannot extend her loan agreement. Running out of options, she realizes her only chance is to sell her share of the Woolpack and raise the money that way. Things briefly appear hopeful when Ruby shows interest in buying, but Caleb quickly dismisses the idea. As Charity scrambles to find another solution, Todd only increases the pressure. Caroline explained that Todd never expected herself to spiral this far into darkness. According to her, the death of Todd's father and everything involving Jacob pushed the character into territory she never imagined she would reach. Despite that, Todd is secretly enjoying the power she now holds. Normally, Charity would easily stand up to someone like Todd. However, Todd's knowledge about Leyla's paternity gives her a major advantage. Feeling trapped, Charity makes a shocking decision and offers Kim Tate her share of the Woolpack for a reduced price. Even if Kim accepts the offer, Charity's troubles may be far from over, as Todd becomes increasingly involved in village life. Caroline also shared her excitement about the fierce rivalry between Todd and Charity, praising her scenes alongside Emma Atkins. She described working with Emma as a privilege and said the writers always had a clear long-term direction for Todd's story, which has made the role especially fascinating to play. Dawn Taylor could be heading for a devastating end in Emmerdale as her dangerous revenge mission against Joe Tate spirals completely out of control. Taking on Joe is an incredibly risky move, but Dawn believes she has one major advantage. He is deeply in love with her, and she is carrying his child. However, that emotional connection could make Joe even more dangerous when he eventually strikes back. Moira Dingle has been encouraging Dawn to continue helping the Dingles destroy Joe after learning he was responsible for Moira's wrongful imprisonment. Horrified by Joe's lies and his shocking act involving Holly's grave, Dawn secretly joined forces with the Dingles and promised to help bring him down. But the deeper she gets involved, the more dangerous the situation becomes. Although Dawn has struggled with doubts, she remains determined to carry on with the plan, despite the growing risks surrounding her. She has already managed to manipulate Joe into handing over money by convincing him to buy Take a Vow from Belle, with the cash ending up in her own account. But that was only the beginning. Moira, Kane, and Dawn are all working together behind Joe's back, though Kane is finding it increasingly difficult to control his anger. Every encounter with Joe pushes him closer to exploding with rage. At the Woolpack, Kane can barely hide his fury as he glares across at Joe. The tension threatens to erupt until Moira steps in and calms the situation before things get out of hand. Even so, both women realize the entire scheme could collapse if they make one wrong move. Later, Kane vents his frustration at the Dingles' home, admitting just how hard it has become to suppress his hatred for Joe. His reaction leaves Moira fearing for Dawn's safety, leading her to urge Dawn to take her children and leave immediately. The warning catches Dawn off guard, forcing her to finally recognize how serious the danger truly is. Despite that, she refuses to run away and insists on handling things in her own way. At the same time, Dawn's guilt continues to grow, especially as Joe keeps talking about their future together and how excited he is about becoming a family. Unlike Joe, Dawn is inexperienced when it comes to deception, and she completely misses the signs that he already knows about the betrayal. His loving behavior is all part of a calculated act, and Joe is secretly planning revenge of his own. Graham Foster is also aware of the truth, and suddenly the balance of power shifts dramatically. Although Graham urges Joe to act carefully, Joe calmly insists everything is under control. However, it soon becomes clear that his plans are far darker than anyone imagined. In a horrifying twist, Graham later returns home to discover Dawn lying unconscious at the bottom of the stairs, while Joe stands silently above her. The shocking scene leaves one terrifying question hanging in the air. What exactly has Joe done? Chaos erupts in Emmerdale after two suspicious fires leave Robert Sugden and Charity Dingle determined to uncover the truth. Following a deliberate blaze at Emmerdale Farm, Moira Dingle initially believed she was the intended victim. However, events soon reveal that the real targets may actually be Robert, or possibly even Joe Tate. Robert recently took control of the farm after Joe manipulated him into framing Moira for human trafficking. Once Moira lost everything, Joe stepped in and seized the property before later placing Robert in charge. But someone clearly isn't happy with the arrangement. At first, everyone assumed the arson attacks were connected to Moira's alleged crimes. Yet when another barn suddenly catches fire while Moira is nowhere near the scene, it becomes obvious the culprit has different motives. Attention initially falls on Joe Tate, but the evidence no longer seems to fit that theory. Meanwhile, Aaron starts wondering who else could be involved after Cami Hadid arrives at work, looking exhausted and disorganized. Already under pressure, Aaron lashes out and accuses him of not doing his job properly, raising suspicions that Cami may be hiding something. Elsewhere, Ross Barton and Sam Dingle secretly investigate another barn. During their suspicious meeting, Ross insists they need a believable cover story and even hands Sam a lighter, making their behavior look extremely questionable. Before long, Aaron and Robert arrive at the scene just as Sam rushes away, leaving Ross behind to face their questions alone. Thinking quickly, Ross claims he was actually searching for the arsonist himself. Surprisingly, Robert and Aaron appear to believe his explanation. Ross then pushes his luck even further by suggesting Robert should pay him to continue investigating the fires. However, another blaze soon breaks out, confirming fears that a serial arsonist is targeting the village. Ross later suggests a chilling possibility. Perhaps Robert's ex-husband, Kev Townsend, has returned seeking revenge. Despite that theory, Aaron becomes convinced they may be overlooking someone much closer to home. In his eyes, Cami remains highly suspicious because nobody truly knows him or his past. Emmerdale airs on weeknights at 8 p.m. on ITV1 and is available to stream on ITVX.